Hello. Hello. Anyone around here speak basketball?
Taking Bobby Webster.
This is Adam Silver.
Hello, and welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks basketball podcast.
Sorry, I'm startled by your voice again.
I know.
You sound great. What am I saying?
Yeah, I think I sound okay. And I miss my usual trust in Masai. So, I'm starting. I threw you off a little bit. I'm your host with COVID, Freddie Rivas. This is my sexy / super sick voice. This is also my flu game. Maddie, what's up? How you doing? Tell people who you are,
I'm your producer. I'm Matt Duncan, of course. And Fred, I'm doing all right. I hope you're feeling better and hope you're on the upswing soon.
I'm hanging in there, but I was saying
props for you for not giving up on the pod,
right?
Look,
I'm not going to do it.
Great.
I'm not going to do it. The doctor called me and told me, you don't do the pod today. And I said, you don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? My doctor calls me every day. So
Nice.
No, I'm happy to be doing a pod. It actually is going to make me feel better, I'm sure. Even if my voice sounds like it's on death's door, it's not, But yeah, if you're turning into the podcast for the first time, we're with Raptors Republic. We're hardcore Raptors fans, analysts, actors, performers. And thanks for joining us. And if people want to help us out, make us big, all that good stuff, how can they do that, Maddie?
Well, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, and go over to raptorsrepublic.com. We've got, all our episodes are there. All the other podcasts are there. All the other great articles are there. And then, in our Instagram and our Twitter, we've got all our link trees set up so that you can, navigate, go to the podcatchers, listen to us on the Rapcast, and then, please subscribe and leave a review there too on, Apple, and I think even Spotify does it now.
Hell yeah. Matt, learning every day, even about Spotify. Cheers, buddy. Okay. I think we could probably get this going soon, but I will say, as I've been saying for a little while now, free BG, Brittany Griner, get informed about the situation if you're unaware. And I'll also add a little bit about COVID, avoid it if you can. It is pretty rough. I am triple vax, but I'm hanging in there. Yeah, it's going to be a fun pod. So let's bring on the guests. Okay, cool. Let's start with you, Lewis. We don't have to do the bottom end of the East, I guess, unless you think the Raptors are there somehow. But yeah, very roughly, where, like, in terms of tiers, where do you have the Raptors right now?
I'm probably a little high on them. Maybe not too high because they had a pretty awesome season. I think it's reasonable to expect them to be better. Otto Porter is going to make them a little better.
Mm-hmm.
You expect guys like Scotty will be better, Gary, OG. So I have them in tier 2. Milwaukee, Boston, tier 1. And I just don't think anybody is like definitively better than Toronto. I think if Fred VanVleet had been healthy, that Sixers series still would have gone another way, which is probably a crazy thing to say, but I'll say it anyway. I have Atlanta in similar tier 2, Philadelphia, Miami, a couple teams there. It's not like, it's just Toronto there, but man, they're very good, and the East is not that good.
I think I'm fully with you. The Atlanta thing, I'm not sure if I've really thought about Atlanta in tier 2. It's a kind of interesting point, but I sort of have Boston and Milwaukee definitively in tier 1. I've listened to some people, throw out some convincing arguments to have Philly in that first tier. I think Philly's done a good job in the offseason, but when it comes to the regular season and racking up wins, I do think that this Raptors team is sort of a juggernaut, and they're really giving me bench mob vibes. I think we're gonna get a lot of wins, and I think we're gonna be able to endure injuries well. So yeah, I have the Raptors in the second tier as well, sort of with Miami and Philly. But yeah, can I get you to elaborate a little bit on Atlanta? Like what kind of gives you confidence about Atlanta?
So I just wrote a piece about this. Trae Young basically guarantees you're going to have a top 5 offense. They were the second best half court offense in the league last year. Trae is just so ridiculous at pick and rolls, at shooting, at self-creation, at passing. He's so insane at offense. And the addition of DeJounte Murray is like perfect in my eyes. They just have not ever had an off-ball guard who can take that point of attack defensively. They brought in Chris Dunn, and who lost his season to injury, unfortunately. I really like that addition. Then they just never tried to replicate it, which that was 2 years ago now. And Murray's like even better than Dunn on the defense. Well, he's comparable on the defensive end. He'll be able to really blow up isolations when he switches, or pick and rolls when he goes over. They're super flexible. They've had one clear weakness defensively, and that's they just couldn't mop up for Trae Young's weaknesses. They had no one who could guard his guy. He was off ball. He wasn't great there. And Kevin Huerter's not who you want guarding pick and rolls anyway. And they finally solved that. So I think that they're just going to be way better than people expect.
I like it. I have to admit, I like to, present myself as a league pass guy. I try to watch every team, try to know the league as much as possible. And Murray is a guy, I just think because of what San Antonio's been doing the past couple of years, I just haven't seen. Boring. Yeah, being boring. And I used to be down with how boring they were, but like, yeah, I haven't watched enough Murray because I feel like people are really excited about him in general and him on Atlanta. So I think, I'm gonna have to make sure I check that out, especially early in the season as they're coalescing and working on chemistry stuff. But where are you at with the tiers, Matt? Is it similar to us? Is it totally different?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty with you with Atlanta, man. I had DeJounte on my fantasy team last year, and he was the best player in fantasy, which doesn't always mean that you're the best player in the league or even suggest that, although Sean Marion might disagree. I'm pretty with you with Atlanta. I think they could be something special. One thing that they have is that they have a lead guard play for 48 minutes, which is, the most important position kind of to have somebody who knows what they're doing. You know what? I'm pretty with you with the Raptors. So I'm going to just not go with my actual opinions and just mix it up and just say that the Raptors are going to miss the play-in. Ooh. And
nice. Yep.
Here's the reasons why. Yeah, do we have a backup point guard, really? Do we have one that Nick Nurse trusts? Because Nick Nurse is going to ride Fred VanVleet 42 minutes a game. Those knees are going to buckle by early December. Christmas, he's going to be wishing that he had a new coach. Oh, too many of the same type of player. Players won't even know who they're passing to. They'll just see the heights of each other on the court. They'll be throwing it all over the place. We have no big center. Christian Koloko, too skinny, man. People are talking about Chet Holmgren. At least Holmgren can play. Koloko can't catch. He can't pass. He can't shoot. The Raptors are screwed. 11th place in the East. A solid, strong 11th place.
Okay. I feel like you came in hard with the comment section energy there. that was
good. But which message board, Freddie? Because I'm not at Raptors Republic. I'm Celtic Pride.
Oh, wow. Celtic Pride. Get out of here. How dare you? It's funny. I know you were joking, but I mean, I was going to actually, like, I had a question in my head, and Matt, I know we've talked about it a bunch. Like, do we have enough depth where Nurse is going to, play Fred a little bit less? Who is going to fill in the gaps there? I was on Sean Woodley's Locked On Raptors today, and we were kind of talking about Nurse and Masai both saying that last year we weren't really playing for the playoffs. Like, we were kind of playing for the regular season. And like, training, I guess, for years like this year, next year, to do some real damage. And yeah, it should be interesting to see how we do manage Fred's role and his minutes. I know I'm taking your joke and making it a serious point, but
well, I mean, like to actually be serious about what to do with Fred's minutes. So we have like they've really doubled down, obviously, with the Juancho Hernan-Gomez signing today on the 6'8", 6'9" guys, and so I think like to me the Raptors lineup that was kind of bulletproof, the one that could really fly against almost any team in the league, are the ones where you have 6'8", 6'9" guys across all 5 of the positions. And now I feel like we are going to see more Pascal at the point guard or as the lead guard position, initiating the offense, passing out of that. Off the bench, you have a great shooter in Otto Porter Jr. You have a great passer with Thad Young, and you have like pure chaos and energy with Boucher. So you have all these ways. Now it's not just the 5 guys that you can have to throw out there. Now you have options to keep playing that way and not just in a strict kind of way. So I think maybe that will be the solution to that problem, but I guess we'll see.
No, I think it's a good point. I think Lewis, I'll go to you before we move on to the next question. Do you have any insights about how you think Fred's minutes might be covered, if they're covered? Maybe he plays. Maybe he leads the league in minutes again.
So I think a couple things about it. I would push back a little that his minutes led to his injuries. Fred has not had a healthy season yet in his career, which sucks. I mean, part of me worries that when we look back on Van Fleet in 20 years, we're going to see a Grant Hill type player where, man, he could have been a year in, year out all-star. And he ended up being very good and elite NBA player, but he could have been something special if he'd just been healthy. And I wonder, because I really do think his finishing, for example, around the rim is really dependent on his knees, his ankles. When he's healthy, which we see usually in the start of every season, he's a very good finisher. He starts out hot, and one mixtape style finisher. And then by the end of the year, he doesn't even attempt layups. He's like not driving. He's not going anywhere near the paint. And it's not minutes. It's the guy is my height. He plays so physical. I mean, he's always throwing his body around. He's under the rim, stripping people. He runs some of the most of anyone in the NBA. Mm-hmm. He takes so many hits, sets screens, runs into them. I wish he was built of titanium and able to survive that. But I don't know who could be at that size. It's not realistic. And so I think he'll age gracefully. He'll be a very good player for a long time. I just hope that he'll be an all-star level guy, despite what we've seen on the injury front through his career.
Yeah, fair points. And I feel like, for good reason, Fred is compared to Kyle Lowry quite a bit. But, Kyle Lowry early career was really athletic and, could attack the rim like I've never seen Fred do. And I think Fred, conversely, has been like an elite shooter since college. And so that's sort of his super skill. But it's a good point. And he puts a lot of torque on his body. I feel like also it's been a narrative at least a couple of times where he's been injured during the playoffs or like leading up to the playoffs. And
I mean, to look at his minutes per game, like in January, he averaged 40 minutes a game and he played 14 games that month. And then he was pretty much shot for the rest of the year. Like he can't go through a period where he's playing that much again. It's like, it's untenable.
I totally agree. I'm not saying the minutes helped. I just think he probably was gonna, like, his body was not, doing wonders for him even before January. And I mean, he had that knee injury, I think, in the middle of February against New Orleans, right? It did come right after all those minutes. But he's had, his ankles, his knees, his elbows, his back. He's hurt a couple things every year. And he has not always played 40 minutes a game.
I think at his best, like with how hard he plays on both ends, he might just be like a 30-minute a game guy during the regular season. Yeah. Like just play him less than the average player as opposed to the most in the league. It seems like there's got to be a little trade-off there, and hopefully we see it this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think, like as far as minutes versus style of play, like there's got to be some, dovetailing there, and it's got to be a mix of the two. So I feel like how he's used is going to be important. Is it more spot up shooting? Does he focus more on being kind of like a continuing to enhance his distribution skills, which I think are pretty good, but not like all the way, amazing. But Matt, let's go to you for question number 2. I feel like this is, I don't know. It seems like, I don't know if there's a right answer here. I have my answer, just, what I think, I guess. But it seems like there is a mini debate going on between, should we start Precious or Gary Trent? And this is, obviously assuming that it's Freddie, Pascal, Scotty, OG, and Precious or Gary. Do you have a preference between the Precious or Gary?
Just based on the players themselves, I'm going to go with Precious. I just think Precious has. I feel like if the Raptors truly want to make a stand this year, Precious is a player that has to break out. So you might as well just ride Precious, see what you have with it. Maybe it doesn't work out, and a few weeks in you go with Gary. But I mean, if Precious does hit, if that shooting on that second half of the season is real, and I think we all are not entirely convinced it's for sure for real, it could be. But if it is, then you've got yourself like that guy, that fourth kind of guy in the lineup that can like really kick some ass, or maybe even like the fifth guy. You got Barnes out there. Barnes hits as well. Like if the Raptors' philosophy is let's play for a championship, then develop the guy who might bring you there. The counter argument maybe for Gary, one of them that's not necessarily even play style, is that, Gary's going into unrestricted free agency this year. Like, do you want to kind of like take Gary's money off of his plate maybe by putting him on the bench, right? Like, I'm sure he wouldn't like that at all. So I guess that's something to consider from a non-fantasy basketball, non-video game perspective on the situation.
No, that's a great point about Gary. Like, I think, him, like if he's asked to be sixth man, I think fans will be like, oh, cool. Like he'll buy into being Manu Ginobili, but him and his agent will be like, shit, this kind of sucks. And, I also think I really like your point about Precious sort of being this example of like how good the Raptors can be. For me, I think I still want to start Gary, mostly because I'm just not sure about his shot selection on the bench. Like I totally get the idea that it's like, okay, he's the guy on the bench. He's the green light. He can just fire away. But I feel like with Barnes, with Pascal, and also with the two other shooters, OG and Fred, you're going to get better shots for Gary as a starter. So that's sort of where I'm at there. But again, like I feel like I could go both ways on this because, just how good is Precious? Like, is he about to have like a most improved player type season? Maybe that's more important than like making sure Gary is happy.
Yeah,
but
who the hell knows, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun dance. And again, Gary's had a bunch of 30, 40 point games. So it's hard for a guy like that to go to the bench, but where the teams, there's a lot of talent here. So where are you at, Lewis? Gary or Precious?
You guys make a ton of really good points. The only thing I'd add is the Raptors are one of the only teams in the modern era that can win games without shooters. They're so bad at shooting. And Gary is one of the only guys who's been able to anchor an offense by just standing outside the arc. Yeah. Like he had the second best offensive on-offs on the team behind Pascal, like better than Fred even. And that's because his shooting was just so unbelievably crucial. Mm-hmm. And I would say, I actually agree with you, Matt, that Precious is a better player already and has the potential to be just there are no words for how good he might become if everything hits right. It's unspeakable.
This is truly a Raptors podcast. There are no words for where Precious Achiuwa could go.
There's no ceiling, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he helps the team as much in 2022-23 as does Gary. And so are you trying to just say, look, we're going to make our players as good as they can be, develop our guys, we'll give Delano a ton of minutes, Scotty can just run wild with the offense? Or are you saying, let's win games? I think let's win games. And in that case, Gary probably starting is best for winning games, which just is a commentary as much on Pascal not being a great pull-up shooter and Fred not being great at pressuring the rim and, OG not being a good pull-up shooter, it's because of the limitations of the rest of the team that Gary helps the team more. If you were a normal basketball team, I think Precious would be a more important guy to start. But the Raptors aren't normal, and they need to scheme around that.
Yeah, great points. And I feel like, when Gary's talked to, like when people talk about trading Gary, I always sort of say in my head, like, okay, but if we trade Gary, I think like we need to trade him for another Gary.
Yeah, then
like,
who's Gary?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just sort of like we, and that's why I was so, just excited and over the top on this Otto Porter signing, because I feel like he's not like, he's more of a kind of stand and shoot guy, but the shooting on this team is, to your point, Lewis, we're one of the only teams that can beat teams without shooting. But I feel like if this Raptors team is going to have is going to be comfortable at all, they're going to have to blow some teams out sometimes, and shooting needs to be a part of that. Like we have to have a couple games where people are hot and people can get a rest, and we can let the bench go crazy. And Gary's just so vital to what we do as a shooter and as a guy to kind of like give in a late shot clock scenario too, who can kind of take it off the bounce and like do hit some crazy shots too that just frustrate the other team.
Winning is so easy when you hit more threes than the other team. The Raptors fans don't know this. If you watch other teams, you know this, but the Raptors win hard, man. It is not easy the way they win basketball games. And if they just had more guys who could hit threes, which Otto Porter, exciting, it's like, winning games doesn't have to be so hard.
Yeah, I mean, like that sounds simplistic, but it's also like such just like a basic truth of the league right now. And of this, like, I don't know, like the Raptors brass is definitely taking like the road less traveled here, like we're doing something.
We're going down that road with Orlando, man. Us in Orlando.
Right? Wait, us in Orlando?
Yeah, the two teams that don't like shooting threes.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, don't, I get the Jeff.
Well, Jeff Weltman.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Jeff Weltman connection I get, but like, I don't know if I want to be compared to Orlando anymore. I feel like we've gotten past that, but
remember when everyone thought Jonathan Isaac was just going to become Pascal Siakam? That was the thing, like in 2019-ish.
I would take Pascal Siakam over Jonathan Isaac as an author, even at this point.
Yeah, totally. He's I mean, like I've read. Sorry,
a good author.
Well, he's got the worst politics in the NBA, at least in my opinion.
I would definitely take Pascal as a religious figure because Jonathan Isaac preaches, right? And Pascal went to seminary school, I believe. So there's some.
Oh, that is cool.
I like it. I like that. We're still like being a Raptors pod here, and that Pascal can beat Jonathan Isaac in any category. Like it's
to be fair to Jonathan Isaac as a player. Like he's had no chance to develop as a player due to his injuries. Like you can't. Maybe he would have become something quite good. Who knows?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he will be good. It's just he's not the same as Pascal in any way. They're very different players.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I always say it with Pascal, but I feel like his development is just so non-linear and different than like other guys we've seen, and it's hard to compare him because he's a really, really unique and special talent. And even in that Tampa year, which was so rough for so many reasons, he was sort of refining some of that, like those passing skills and just kind of quick decision making. And I was talking about this earlier as well, but even the idea of Pascal's like clutchness is sort of sometimes not portrayed properly because he just does a lot of different things. Like he might get a clutch steal or make a big defensive play in crunch time, but not necessarily hit like the fadeaway three.
I did like his shooting in that Philly series, though. That was the first time where he looked confident taking shots in the playoffs in a very long time. Like just the confidence level to pull up, and he just had a swagger that wasn't there before. He seemed way more comfortable in the playoffs this year. At least to me.
He got better in the playoffs. That matters.
Yeah, great point. He did get better in the playoffs, and I feel like there's a chance, knock on wood, but I think he's headed for his third All NBA.
Maybe first team.
I mean, first team. Yeah,
Lots of injuries. we don't know what might happen.
This is a Raptors pod. First team, we'll see. We'll see. But
man, if it's first team, though, we're in for a fun year, guys.
The Raptors. Remember when they were the second best team in the league in 2019-20, and he still wasn't first team? We were surprised he was second team All NBA that year. Everyone's like, maybe third team was appropriate. First team's a tough ask.
Yeah, I mean, Norman Powell had a Mike James year that year. He was unbelievable.
Never stopped. He still makes every three he shoots.
I love Norm.
Yeah. Shout out to Norm, understanding the grind. Best weirdest branding. Understanding the grind is it's a nice long sentence, as far as it's not simple. You know what I mean? You got to really think about what's the grind? What is understanding it? Okay, maybe this is COVID talking. I'm getting loopy.
No, you are completely right. That is a bogus slogan, and I love Norm.
It's a thinker, Okay, guys, that's it for the pod. Thank you both so much for joining and for helping to carry me through this episode. But let me go to you first, Lewis. Obviously, 538 Raptors Republic. But where can people find you? What do you want them to read? What do you want to let people know?
Yeah, your voice sounds better, by the way. I think this has been good for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
What do I got?
Come back.
I read for a new place called the All-Star. It's where that piece about the Atlanta Hawks was about Murray. Just a lot of Raptors Republic right now. Not a lot of places want basketball stories during the summer. So props to RR for keeping it going.
Yep. Cool. And Maddie, what's up? I know you got your shows at SoCap going, but what do you want to let people know? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I got this weekly gig selling soup at Dundas Square, cream of mushroom soup. It's for 1 hour a week, 7 to 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Come on by, a.m. So if you want to start your day off right with a big bowl of soup, come to Dundas Square.
Cream of mushroom in July? Hard pass, Matt.
It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot soup.
Yeah, come get some scalding hot soup, cream of mushroom.
You'll have to let it sit in that hot sun for a while before you can sip that soup. You better have 20 minutes. We don't supply spoons.
Wow. That sounds like a true waking nightmare. And shame on you for doing that at all. Okay, guys. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, Maddie. Thanks for everyone who's listening and supporting. Like, follow, subscribe. Hit us up at Raptors Republic. And Maddie, if you feel like we're done, we're good to go, please just give me those words I love so much. Okay.
Listen to full episodes of the Confederacy of Dunks only on the Rapcast.